So you may be wondering, what's Stop Killing Games? So basically, if you've ever played an online game, you may have wondered what would happen if the company simply stops caring about this game. Like I play World of Warcraft, like a lot of World of Warcraft, for many years. So what would happen if Blizzard simply decided, okay, we're closing all the servers, we don't want this anymore, there's no WoW 2, WoW is dead? I would personally lose hundreds, honestly thousands of hours of my life playing World of Warcraft, which is extremely sad, but it is what it is. I would lose all those hours, I would lose my characters, I would lose all the experiences I had, except for my memory, which could fade at any day now. Let's be honest, I'm 31, I could be dead tomorrow. So this is what this is for. Like, this was made by Ross from Accursed Farms, this guy. So he is the voice of Morgan Freeman. If you haven't seen this series, it basically goes through Half-Life 1 and 2 as Morgan Freeman, like role-playing the character of Morgan Freeman, but in his own way. It's hilarious, so please go watch it, it's really good. And he also does the Ross's Game Dungeon, and it's essentially one of the things that inspired me to do YouTube, to be honest. He also started talking about this a while back. As you can see, he talked about The Crew, which is an example of a game that died. So he decided to create a movement about this, in order to have ways for the companies to either allow private servers or for the games to exist in an offline way. So yeah, of course there is people who are against this. As to why, I mean, it's this guy, Jason Thor, Pirate Software, Thor, however you prefer to call him. You probably have seen his face many times on YouTube, Twitch. Maybe if you watched Pyrocynical or Penguin Zero or Asmongold, I don't know. Most people talk about this guy in terms of controversy. He does raise some important concerns. One claim that he made that makes him against this is the fact that preservation would be too expensive for most developers. Not all developers have time or money to create offline modes or server emulation. Ross did counter this with the fact that either a company allows an offline mode or allows the community to create a private server, and that is fair. Why wouldn't it be? Because if the game is dead, we paid for it. Like, the company doesn't want to attribute resources to it anymore. It should belong to the community now. So one of his quotes is, "All it takes is not legally blocking people from fixing the games you abandoned." And to me that makes sense. The game is not active anymore. No one is actually spending money on it. So it's not a burden on the company anymore. Maybe the IP could be a burden if they start using it in a different way, but that would be copyright infringement. In this case, it would literally be just reopening the game to be active. As simple as that. Legal risks are too high, is another claim. And so Ross has countered this with the fact that this would only be targeting the games or the versions that the publishers fully abandoned. So it would not be active at all. Another claim is the fact that the movement is toxic. Fans are hostile. But to me that's subjective, really, because any movement has toxic people on both sides. Of course, toxicity should never be allowed, and this is why in this video I will not really talk about the controversies that either side or even either comments have mentioned. Most people are just focusing on the fact that this said that and this said that. To me, that's meaningless. I just want to be able to understand both sides, because that's what's really important. If there's dialogue, there's ways for everyone to get along. And I do fully agree that there's no reason for disrespect. There's no reason for anyone to commit ad hominem. It destroys the argument on any side. So, of course, Ross also acknowledged this, and he has publicly asked his followers to remain respectful and called for debate, which is perfectly reasonable. Of course, at the same time, this should not discredit any movement. Like, let's take the political side and see, for example, Israel versus Palestine. There should be dialogue. So if one person says A and another person says B, there should be time for each person to say, oh, this is, I think, A because of this, and the other person say, I think B because of this. Why do you think A is because of this? As simple as that. That's how it should work in an argument, not simply saying, oh, if you think A, you're retarded. That's not how it works. Or at least that's not how it should work. So I'm very glad that this is being discussed, and Ross acknowledges that his fans maybe were not respectful, but it's also important that the other side mentions this as well. So Ross's key rebuttal on this was that he's not asking for publishers to lose money. He's asking them to stop erasing what we gamers paid for. If they want to preserve it, at least let other people give it a try. At least let other people keep it afloat. And it makes sense. Like, why not allow it to exist in some way? So yeah, that was the gist of it. Ross created this initiative, which already has 1,200,000 signatures. It's a lot, to be honest. It still needs more, because even though 1 million was the threshold, there always needs to have some lenience between, is it 400,000? I think, yeah, 400,000, in order to prevent any falsified signatures, because it can happen anywhere, let's be honest. So this is hopefully going to change the law and make us be able to enjoy our games longer. Of course, there's a FAQ. It goes through all of the little things that I talked about, that Ross mentioned. So yeah, please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you support this, if this is neutral to you, if you are against this, and why, because that would be interesting. So yeah, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.